They're making dating impossible by Sydney Watson. It's the usual thing. We can already tell. The nose ring is already there. The nose ring is already there. It's already, like, yeah.
Your comments saying, nose ring theory.
Nose ring theory.
Are literally doing the opposite of what you think they are. I want to look this way. I want you to be able to look at me and see that I am a safe space and that I don't.
See, I never get the, how long is this video? 26 minutes. Regardless. See, I hate the word safe space, because safe space would genuinely mean that no matter who comes to you, everyone would feel safe. Even the ones with opposing opinions. But that's not the case, so you're not a safe space.
Don't tolerate bullshit. I want you to look at me.
You are the bullshit.
And no, Donald Trump. Men, honestly.
Well, this is deeply unpleasant. Hi, my name is Sydney. Welcome back to hell. And just a quick note before...
Back. We never even left. What do you mean?
Before we do the video, on my tea website, Lions Tea Exchange, I am running a Black Friday / Cyber Monday sale of up to 50% off site-wide. Yes, everything on sale, including my wooden gift boxes. No code needed, the discounts are automatically applied at checkout. I will link everything in the description box. Now, I have not dipped my little toesy woesies into the dating discussion for quite a while.
Why would you? Why would you? It's unbearable. It is unbearable. Why would you? Nobody wants to. Why would you?
Namely because every time I do, it brings really strange people out of the woodwork. We respect and like both men and women on this channel, friends. We just don't particularly like buttholes and insane people, okay? This is not a space to just aggressively hate on either
Women insane. Anyways.
sex for no reason, so mind
I'm just kidding. There's plenty of sane women. They're just the minority, though.
your P's and Q's, or I'll find you and snap your little fingers. I wish that was more satisfying. That was not worth it. I love that we're starting this video with me threatening all of you like some sort of mafia boss. You know what, rather than snapping your fingers, perhaps I'll just send you all fish in the mail.
It's like when the mafia send each other fish through the post.
Anyway, one of my dear darling friends sent me this video to laugh at, but rather than finding it very funny, it just made me incredibly sad for everybody still in the dating world.
I would know. I'm back again, boys. Nah, I'm keeping my fingers out of this. I'm good. Look at this. Look at this. She might just be on a fucking grass field on a farm. Look at this cow. Look at this Satanist cow. I've missed coming here for your sexism. Anyways.
I'm sure you've probably seen that person that does like messages their Tinder matches first with like the most diabolical.
Does she have a fucking tattoo on her forehead? By the way, that's a big ass forehead. You could land a plane on there and still have enough space. You could have a picnic on her forehead. Look at that ginormous thing.
Just fucking random shit. I do this too. It's one of my favorite.
And why do they want to look like this? And who is messaging this thing? Who is messaging this thing? That's a cow, rejected cow. Who is matching on dating apps? This must be the most diabolically desperate man on the planet. Also, her name is Nicolas Cage's left nut. The fuck?
Favorite fucking hobbies. So every week I'm going to be making one of these episodes and showing you the things I've said to potential mates.
I won't lie, and
also, did she shave her eyebrows? That nose ring has to hurt, definitely. It looks so heavy. She shaved her eyebrows too. What the fuck? Hi, Cricket. How you doing? Hope you're doing good. Hello.
maybe I'm alone in this, I think it's a little weird to go out of your way to traumatize men on the internet for views. The lads are simply trying to find someone to love as well. But more importantly, who is intentionally matching with this person on dating apps? Do you have some sort of humiliation fetish? What is going on here?
They're like a hole is a hole, no matter how crazy it is. Also, what is ever ate a hot dog backwards? Huh?
Here's one of my first ones from this week. You ever ate a hot dog backwards? I feel like this is a great way to open a conversation. Because, like, there's no wrong answer, you know? Now, this one,
I mean, this isn't particularly bad. Kind of fun question, I guess. But this one, I can immediately know what you are politically.
think is fucking hilarious. Do you think bugs would choose to work a 9 to 5 if they had better health insurance? God knows I would. I'm not really sure what the theme is with the hot dogs today.
Why? But why? Why hot dog water? Why hot dog water? That could be kind of a bad fate though. Backwards like dogs surrounding bun, or is that inside out? It depends. Maybe she means like the outside is the sausage and the inside is the bread. Maybe she means it like that.
Do you think leftists tried not to be funny on purpose, or do you think it just happens that way? So because I hate myself, I wear...
Of course. Oh, am I surprised? I'm not surprised. Also, that behind me, that scared me. I'm glad that I'm blocking this, because she has her tits are almost falling out.
Went and looked up this girl's TikTok. She calls herself Bunny, with an I. All of this is checking out so far. It feels exclusively like this account was made for me to hate watch. Anyway, after scrolling her weird videos, I found that about a month after the clip I showed you, she was banned from Tinder. Yeah, maybe...
That's not too hard, not gonna lie. If you make enough accounts back to back, Tinder will ban you. They will ban you, because they can notice if through your IP, if you're making the same account if you're making a new account over and over again. I've tried that, it works.
It was asking men weird questions about hot dogs. Just a thought. You see, I got perma-banned on the dating app Bumble for impersonating myself. You got banned because you drew anorexic caterpillars on your face. Anyway, apparently women like our friend Bunny here are making dating a lot harder than it needs to be. And during my travels of the internet, I came to find out that this is apparently more of a feature of modern dating, not a bug. And because of women who look and act this way, it's given rise to the term
Septum ring theoryism from a middle-aged man who would probably pay money for my attention. Is that an advertisement for your OF? Is that multiple rings, by the way? Why do they always look like that?
septum ring theory, or nose ring theory. So because my birth year starts with a 1-9, I had absolutely no idea what this meant and had to look it up. And apparently it refers to women who have a septum piercing, or I guess nose piercings in general, being mentally unwell and psychotic.
Not all of them, but there are some. Why have you tried this, Poke? Because eventually you'll run out of people in reach to swipe, so you just restart over, right?
Alright kids, I just woke up and I saw this comment and was like, what does this mean? So I did my little research on the internet, the TikTok search bar, and it turns out that I'm fucking crazy. I mean, he ain't wrong. I'm in therapy, I'm medicated, I'm bi, whatever.
At least they're admitting to it. I don't know what to do with this.
The MAGAs just started calling this like, oh, nose ring theory every...
Nah, not this part, not this part. See, the small one, some women can pull off the small one, right? The small one is fine. Some women can pull that off. It's the one that makes you look like you're sitting on farmland. That's the problem. That's the problem. See, there is it almost exclusively looks ugly at all times. There's like a rare case where a woman can actually pull it off and not it look like she's gonna be milked in a few days, regardless. I actually send the super like to a fat one in Hinge. Crazy work. Well, you're not Jamaican partially, right? When they have the really big nose rings, I'm always scared it's gonna rip their nose flap. I have intrusive. See, when I see somebody with a nose ring, I have bad intrusive thoughts. I wonder what would happen if I like just pull on it, like a quick pull.
Woman with a nose ring is apparently crazy. Essentially, what this so-called theory states is that women with septum rings make their trauma, their whole personality, they're unhinged, crazy, and basically it's just a way to discredit, denounce, and degrade women.
Your comments saying nose ring theory.
Nah, If a stereotype is that established, it becomes the truth. Stereotypes exist for a reason. Oh no, this thing again.
Are literally doing the opposite of what you think they are. I want to look this way. I want you to be able to look at me and see that I am a safe space and that I don't tolerate bullshit. I want you to look at me and know Donald Trump, men, honestly. What's going on in the world right now?
I watched like 20 of these videos of women with septum bars and nose piercings angrily disagreeing with these comments being left.
They're angrily disagreeing, but they're confirming the theory, which is the fun part. That is the fun part. They are disagreeing, but yet confirming it, which is really funny.
Left on their videos, but without fail, every single one of them was a leftist, because stereotypes do actually exist for a reason. It actually annoys me a lot because when I was an emo teenager, everybody cool had a septum piercing and all of us wanted one because they were a real sign of being in the alt community, like the actual alt community, not whatever it is today, whatever the...
See, I had in school situations where you had like a perfectly cute girly, right? Just perfectly fine face, a pretty woman, right? One day decides to rock the septum piercing. Permanent damage.
Kids are doing today. Now, the only people who look like this are people who have daddy issues so hard they think the government should parent them.
I think it's absolutely hilarious that Trumpers are just now realizing that people who have different views than them have nose rings. Like, yeah, bud. I decided a long time ago I don't want to conform to your beauty standards.
You know, a lot of these people are just extremely, extremely alarming human beings. Like the sort of people who you would reject and then they would go to extreme lengths to find you out in the real world and come to your house. And that's actually entirely possible because of...
It's kind of hot. Anyways.
How much of your private information is accessible on the internet through...
Let me think. What kind of sponsor does she have? What are we thinking? It's not Surfshark. Incogni. It's Incogni. 100%. It's Incogni. 100%. What is it?
Data brokers. So if you don't want to be stalked by one of these insane people, check out the sponsor of today's video, Incogni.
Bingo! Hey, I'm good at this. Don't want to conform to beauty standards, so you agree it's ugly? Apparently they do.
You never question protecting yourself out in the real world with pew-pew sticks or pepper spray or your giant guns that you make in the gym. Okay, your giant guns, I mean yours, not mine. So why wouldn't you protect yourself online as well?
Pew-pew sticks, really? That's a firearm. That's a gun.
When identity theft is so prevalent and scammers are running wild. Americans, unfortunately, know all about getting spam calls and texts. There are even those incredibly upsetting videos where scammers will go ahead.
That doesn't save you anymore. The EU wants your location. They even find Elon Musk now because they, don't get information on, users on X. And they're not, X isn't transparent enough. They want your location.
And clone your voice and then call your loved ones. And this disgusting practice is happening because unfortunately your information is out there on the web, on data broker websites, ready to be purchased by whoever. I know. It's alarming. I care so much about everybody having privacy on the internet, which is why I work with Incogni, which is why they sponsor this video.
That will all soon be over. There will be no privacy anymore. The EU wants your location.
And which is why I hope that you will go ahead and download them once I'm done talking. On my profile here, you can see Incogni has had over 1,000 entries about me removed from the internet. And it was straightforward to make this happen. I made an account, I gave Incogni the right to work for me, and they set about smacking down data brokers on my behalf. At first, it was really scary seeing how much of my information Incogni has taken offline, but I'm actually really grateful for it because all too often we hear these horror stories about criminals using data broker websites to steal their victims' information and then use their social security number, their addresses, their names. I also really like that they've recently taken this all a step further with their...
You want my personal opinion? Google's already doing it. selling your information. And I'm gonna be honest, the government's probably already also selling your information.
Custom removals, and this basically just lets you submit web pages that you find yourself for Incogni to battle on your behalf. It's important to know that there are a lot of companies that claim to do what Incogni does, but Incogni has actually been independently verified by Deloitte, meaning they're the real deal. So now is the time to take your data back with Incogni, especially if you are worried about data brokers like I am. So click the link in the description or go to incogni.com/Sydney. And don't forget to use code Sydney to get 60% off Incogni's annual plans. What's becoming increasingly clear, and is probably obvious to a bunch of you, is that there is a huge schism that has developed between men and women. And this same group of women who go out of their way to let you know that they hate men, that they don't need men, that men are terrible, horrible demon creatures, are simultaneously quite confused why they're having so much trouble finding a man to date.
What do you expect? These women, right? We're talking about these women in specific. They walk around. You have to. It's a complete oxymoron. They walk around demanding a man with progressive views that treats you traditionally. How does that work? You cannot go around, ask for a man that essentially treats you 50-50, but gives you 100%. This does not work. But there's genuinely women who walk around who want a man that is when it comes to his ideology, progressive, but treats you like a conservative. That does not work. This is a complete oxymoron, but these women exist.
More specifically of the liberal variety.
This video is for my girlies who are in relationships with liberal men, more specifically people that are just like super down with like human rights, women's rights, don't support genocide, aren't transphobic, aren't homophobic, aren't racist type shit, you know. I'm curious where you found them, and if you think there's any left. Don't get me wrong, super happy that you like got your hands on one.
They don't exist. The liberal men are women now. If you know, you know. They're transitioning, so, anyways.
And it's kind of giving, like, ultra rare. Like, 24 karat gold Labubu type shit. Like, that's super awesome. Just curious if you think there's any left, and...
Labubu mentioned. A German girl just recently made a song called Labubu something. It's over.
And where you would direct us single girls to find them.
Honey, they don't exist. They're too busy getting pegged. Jokes aside, there's actually...
They're too busy getting pegged, cugged, transitioning. Or you don't want them because they're not masculine enough.
This humorous trend on social media where these women once again are asking not only where the liberal men are, but where are the liberal men who behave like conservative men?
Do you want to know one of the saddest realizations I recently had? Was that as a liberal woman, it is really hard to find a man who is willing to play the more traditional.
You want a liberal man that is traditional. Yes, I also want the chicken that tastes like beef. What are we doing? Why is she talking about men like their products though? Because that's what they are to them. Products, right? It's at the end of the day, it's still objectification. Just a different kind.
Masculine role in the relationship in today's day and age. Who is not a conservative? A man who wants to pay on the first date, who wants to open your door, who has that want and desire to take care of you and to provide. Who is not a conservative?
Videos like this are so surreal to me, and it's very hard to put into words why, but I'm going to try. I don't think there's anything wrong or weird or strange or inherently leftist about wanting to be treated as an autonomous, independent person. There's nothing wrong with that. But I think it's quite strange to participate in the same ideology that has browbeaten men for decades, insisted that chivalry and sort of traditional values are a tool of the patriarchy, and then turn around when you're ready and say, no, I want it now. I personally don't think that treating women, particularly with respect and decency and kindness and blah, 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 should be a left-wing or right-wing thing, just like I don't think that treating men with decency and kindness and love should be a particularly left-wing or right-wing thing. However, in the context of men acting this way, it's typically conservative traditional beliefs that underpin this behavior. I'm sorry it's this way. You've told all the liberal men that everything has to be 50-50 and that you want to be...
You want 50-50. You want to be equal. No, not like that. I want all the fun without all the responsibility. That's important. Chicken beef kind of sounds good. You're thinking with your belly. Chill.
Be fully equal to him, and he's going to act that out. He's going to expect you to behave in such a way that demonstrates that. And fair enough, you've told him that's what you want. It's no wonder that fertility rates are falling. Everyone is insane. To be honest with you all as well, I think that the sort of social conditioning that I just described around male-female behavior is probably why a lot of men now actively do not want to approach women, and why women, the normal ones, are finding this very frustrating.
I better pay attention to me tonight. I'm so sick of this shit.
Oh my god.
Touch a boob, buy a drink. I mean, it's like very simple.
I ain't touching nothing, bitch! I am touching nothing! First of all, I wouldn't do that. Waiting on the marriage. Second of all, I am not even if I wasn't, I am not touching shit. I ain't touching no woman. I want to live outside of the jail. Leave me alone! They don't want conservative men because they think conservative men treat women how liberal women actually treat men. Kinda, yeah.
Why? Every day I go out, looking adorable, tits bouncing, skin glistening.
That's also not the way to do it. Because now you look like a whore. This doesn't work. This doesn't work.
And yet nobody ever hits on me or approaches me. Ever. Oh my god, like, please.
Guys don't approach girls at the bars anymore.
I do.
I don't expect guys to come up to me, but I know the caliber of my friends, and I know what those bitches look like, and they are some stunning. If guys aren't going up to them, guys aren't going up to fucking anyone. So I think if you're going up to girls at the bar...
I don't know when we have started referring to, like, dateable women as bitches or baddies. I'm gonna be honest. When somebody refers to themselves as a baddie or a bitch, that's a red flag. I'm not dating that. I'm not striking a conversation with that. I'm not hitting that up. The moment I see that, that's a red I'm sorry, but that's a red flag. That comes with so many problems. I think I'm good.
In the first place, whether you say hi, whether you say, can I buy you a drink, whether you use Nick's line, which is a great line, by the way.
Thank you.
I think you have a million times better of a shot.
I think it's worth pointing out, because it often gets lost in this conversation, that a lot of the women who are now experiencing men withdrawing from them, young men withdrawing from them, actually had nothing to do with the messaging that caused that reaction in the first place. They were little girls when all of this was being so heavily laid on everybody, and now unfortunately they're the ones who are getting kicked in the head by the messaging that generations beforehand had been, forcing onto men. I don't know if I articulated that well at all. Hopefully I did. So I really feel for these young women because they had nothing to do with it, and I feel bad for the young men because they've been once again browbeaten from the time that they were little to sort of go against innate instincts.
Yeah, but most of these things, the reason why young men are like this is because it already started in school. Like, it already started in school. And it starts with taking away boyish behavior in school. It starts already in school by telling boys to act like they're girls when they're not. I've been saying this many times. There's many indicators for this. Technically, boys should go into school a year later than girls. So girls can be put into first class as or primary school at 6 years. And boys on average should be at like 7 or 8. Because boys overall are slower and they need more time to develop. Been saying this a couple of times. There's plenty of studies that are on my side with this one. Boys should technically be, first of all, treated actually almost completely different because they are very different. It's just that we're not doing that. We're raising boys, so we're raising women to be second-class men and like guys to be like worse women. It doesn't work.
Of, wanting to chase and all these fun things. So I don't know. I think everything's pretty screwed up. But But this video is not about the women who are collateral damage in all of this. This is about the crazy, psychotic women who are canceling dates because a guy said that he's not interested in politics.
I was supposed to go on a date tonight, but I realized I hadn't asked him enough questions, so I called him before. I was like, hey, mind if we just do a quick...
Maybe there's actually all the nose rings. Maybe it's the... Maybe I'll take it back. Maybe it's the small ones too. Like if you're so politics-brained, okay, if you are so politics-brained that you have to bring up politics on a date, if that's one of the first things you have to bring up when getting to know a person, that is diabolical. That is diabolical. I think putting boys and girls in the same schools was a bad idea. Single-sex schools tend to teach them better because they can use different styles very much. And I think maybe... Again, that doesn't fit into the agenda because men and women are obviously the same and they develop the same and there's definitely no differences whatsoever. Wink, wink.
We'll run through a questionnaire, and he's like, yeah. Doesn't care about politics. Doesn't care about politics. So
this guy will probably never realize, but he did in fact dodge a major crazy bullet. I love that you guys don't even have to
Bro somehow managed to dodge an atomic bomb at that point.
Tell these women that you're right-wing anymore. You can just say, I don't care, and they'll dump you anyway. Once you actually meet men and spend time with them, you realize that they don't really care about too many things anyway. This is not terribly surprising behavior. These women have actually pathologized having normal conversations in an effort to get to know somebody, to ask them questions to see if you're compatible. Because these people do not live on planet Earth with the rest of us, rather than spending the time getting to know somebody as a human being like you normally would, they have instead decided that questions are only for finding out if someone is empathetic and progressive and whatever. Lord help you guys. Seriously. Imagine having to play progressive 20 questions before you can have the most disappointing sex of your life.
So I have come up with 10 questions that you can ask when you're dating to see if this person actually has empathy.
Glasses theory. 30s girls go get the cat. Yeah, at this point you just gotta get the cat. At this point it's over. Don't get a dog though, because we know progressives like to shock their dog. Can we have a crazy glasses theory? Because that's a I might start a new one. Crazy glasses. Also, she's like in her 40s probably, late 40s. She's already starting to have a hairline. Look at this McDonald's looking head. Also, ginormous forehead. Why do they all have ginormous foreheads?
And progressive values without being so obvious. Like they're actually gonna have to think about this. So here we go. So the first question is, tell me about a time you changed your mind about something important to you that maybe your friends or your family members didn't agree with.
It's probably pertinent that I tell you that this is the same woman who encouraged her followers to break up with their conservative partners. So do with that what you will. Is that dog fluff? Oh my god. Sydney, oh my god, it's dog fluff. Then there are the women who just patently lose their minds at the very prospect of dating a man with differing political viewpoints.
I cannot believe a man said this to me. Actually I can. The other day when I posted the video about wanting a liberal guy or whatever, I had this dumbass literally send me a message and he was like, well, he doesn't have to be a liberal man. Why can't it just be a man that treats you good? Sir, because a MAGA man isn't going to treat me good. You know why? Let's just start with first and foremost. You voted against my fucking rights. Okay?
Ah, yes. This is a completely normal reaction to someone asking you to be open-minded to a nice man. How dare he? I mean, at this point, I am ready to vote against this woman.
If I see women like that, I'm voting against their rights on purpose. No. Voting against her, is this Roe v. Wade? This is Roe v. Wade, isn't it? Nobody took away your rights. It's just that it was given back to the state you're in. So so you just have to vote in your state to make abortion technically legal. And if people decide against it, it's still a democracy. So it's technically, nobody took it away. It just was given back to the states. That's it. Second of all, you obliterating your child with the womb nuke is not alright. Hate to break it to you. So apolitical people are fucked. Yup. I'm gonna make my man take a quiz to see how progressive he is. If I take a test like that, I'd just be... Depending on who made the test, it just come out as Adolf Hitler's son or something like that. Not quite like that, but like, you get the idea. Or she sat like that with her shorts all the way up her cooch. Well, because all these women have to offer is their bodies.
Women's rights. Golly. I'm not trying to pick on single mothers, just by the way, because I got love for you ladies, but I knew as soon as I saw this video that this...
You can pick on single mothers if that's the single mother you're dealing with.
Woman is in fact a single mother. Because of the general air of insufferability, you know, I'm not trying to be judgmental, but I can definitely tell that this is a difficult person to live with.
I cannot believe a man said this to me.
I don't know, lady, maybe get your septum pierced. I hear that that's the entry fee to get the therapy that you so desperately need. So I have been both a woman and right-wing more or less my entire life, you know, sort of like oscillating on the right-wing spectrum. And it's kind of funny because nowadays I find myself to be the most moderate on certain issues than I ever have been previously.
I started out being more center, but again, I must clap because nobody's better in making you go to the right than a leftist. So the more I realized that they hate me, the more I started drifting towards more conservative leaning points. And now we're here. Now we're here.
Mostly because I think everybody's insane. I am the only sane one. I have built a tower around myself and nobody is allowed to enter or disturb my sanity. Anyway, it was always important to me to find somebody who had core values that I shared because that just generally makes life a lot easier, but I would never reject somebody because they were apolitical, which you guys know is an actual thing here. If a guy is not overtly political, these women just assume that he is a raging right-winger. No, bunny, he just doesn't give a crap about politics. Maybe he's the only sane person in the same tower with his hobbies and fishing. Actually, I'm just kidding. A dude with a fishing photo?
Fishing is right-wing. Kidding. I'm definitely center right. Damn, so you're a Nazi? That's crazy. Hi, Dinosaur. How you doing? Hope you're doing good. Remember, if you're center, you're a Nazi. You're already. It's too late, buddy. It's too late. I started out very, very left communist, and now I'm approaching far right. That's a transformation right there. I feel like that common VTuber reaction to politics. Yeah. It works, right? We have like Smug Alana doing it. Leaflet is doing it. There's some other girlies that do it as well. Fishing too. Well, I'm fucked. Well, it happens.
I would 100% think is right-wing. God forbid a man has hobbies.
As a bi woman, what am I gonna do with that if you don't say that you're liberal? If you're a white man, are you trying and you match?
Why did you have to point out white man? Do you have some BBC fetish? Like, if it's white, it's not Ryan, right? If it's brown, I go around. Like, what is this?
You like my profile? Are you see that I'm bi on my profile? Are you trying to convert me? Are you trying to turn me straight? What's going on here? What's going on here? Are you liberal but just didn't write it? What's going on?
I'm sorry, this one was a uniquely painful watch. Delivering to camera in one fell swoop where you just speak words and they make sense and they sound nice is actually quite hard, but if you can't get it correct, why are you still putting it on the internet? Like, why are you exposing people to this? Maybe we should have just left this one in the drafts. So if you are wondering why this is happening, why dating is so hard, and honestly this is all pretty self-evident, like I said, there's a massive divide happening between men and women. With women obviously getting much more progressive and them also determining that political affiliation is one of the most important factors when it comes to choosing a partner. And these women want you to know that they hate Trump. They want you to know that they have more extreme political opinions in the leftward direction. And they're very upset that they can't signal these things on dating apps appropriately.
What are we doing? Leftists on dating apps, what are we picking? Because I already started the discourse on Twitter, but I want to know your opinion. Are we picking liberal? Or are we picking non-political other?
That's the question. I put always. I put, if there's an option, I'll put conservatives. I wonder if that's smart to do. Aside from that, maybe I just have to date the liberal woman and convert her. But they're all, like, many of them are ran through. So what do I do? If it's brown, I go down. If it's black, take it from the back. That's crazy.
Like, they don't have an option for us. Please let me know. What is worse of two options? Worse or worser? Because I'm having a hard time dissecting if these people are actually leftists, liberals, non-political. Like, we really need a leftist option.
I find this really interesting.
Correction. It does not make a difference if it's like the small one or the big one. The big one is just the big one is like the amount of mental illness. The bigger the greater the amount of mental illness. Whatever. Do not date a liberal woman. Yeah. Well, you can't date Christians either, because they randomly start messaging other men. Anyways.
Interesting, though, on a statistical level, and this has been demonstrated over and over and over again, between progressive women and conservative / right-wing women, us righties are much less worried about finding somebody who aligns with us 100% politically. But unsurprising to none of you, the leftist progressive women are incredibly concerned with it. I found one completely insane survey that
Table 3. Willingness to date people with opposing political views. Ex-felons and flat earthers by strength of ideological self-identifications. Political opponents. Variable liberal. 13% willing, 66% unwilling. Ex-felons. Are you telling me that they're more likely to date ex-felons than political opponents? What? That's crazy. That's insane. Okay, flat earthers 7%, and then unwilling 81%. Somewhat liberal 30% willing, 34% unwilling. 20% willing, 45% unwilling. So somewhat liberal has more brain. That's nice. Flat earthers, 10%. 74%, over double the ratio. That's crazy. Moderate, obviously 53% willing, 21% unwilling, 28% willing, 42% unwilling. Okay. And then conservatives, 50%. That's way more. And then unwilling, 20%. And very conservative, also ex-felons, less likely. And more unwilling. That is a crazy thing. They probably add a politic filter like they did with height. Well, you can probably already put that there. At least some are willing to date flat earthers. Peak. Even my flat earther homies are already getting almost more play than these guys. That's crazy.
If I'm reading this correctly, determined that very liberal women would prefer to date an ex-felon over someone with a differing political view.
Oh, I get it. So that's how we get. Oh, so that's how we get it. So that's how we get all these single mothers. Because 29% are willing to date an ex-felon. Huh. Got it. Does all flat earthers and women be flat too? How does that work? Personally, I have no boob preferences. Boob is boob. Anyways, if the option's a murderer or a man who thinks OF is empowering, my husband is a murderer, but at least he's not a cuck. Crazy.
This is actually so funny because I found this TikTok which basically says he might be evil but at least he's liberal, and I was like, I don't even know where I'm going to use this in this video, but it fits.
Where does she even find? Like, she has to go and search for these, right? She has to actively look for these clips, right? Like, she has to. Like, she actually has to look for these clips. How do you find these? How do you get through this without needing therapy?
Perfectly here, so here you go. what the because of course you've decided that the felon is less bad than these men who you have decided randomly, arbitrarily, are just as bad as, I don't know, Nazis and want to like steal your uterus or something.
That's all the ghost. It's my dog yelling in the background. See, one has a driving license here. True. Time to rob a bank, peek. Yeah, he killed a man, but he doesn't want me to post as online. Everything's fine as long as he's not Adam22. Regardless. I'm gonna pull a shoe on head here. Wait, they don't kill you because you're a Nazi. They call you Nazi so they can kill you. That was the thing.
With the uterus stealing, we're talking about a different group of men. I hate explaining jokes, but I'm talking about the It's weird because despite liberal women desperately wanting someone who politically aligns, they report higher levels of dissatisfaction with life and dating. Wow, I can't imagine why. Let's draw some dead caterpillars on our face.
Wow. My political opinions make my life miserable because my entire personality revolves around them, and I'm so insufferable that nobody wants to be around me. And now I feel bad. Yeah. Who would have guessed? Who would have guessed? Surprise. No way, dude.
And go figure it out, Scoob. What are you doing? Hi, Liam. I got groomed yesterday and I'm a pretty boy now. You can't see him. He's a pretty boy now. All right, go away. Be gone from me, vile man. I also want to give
Sydney, do you have a collar? Of the shocking kind?
props to men here because on a statistical front, and this has been demonstrated over and over, men are just less interested in someone's political views aligning with theirs. Not 100%, just really at all. And I think that's quite evolved, although other people would argue that's just because men will go after anything with a heartbeat. And maybe there's some truth to that too.
Yeah, true. We can't see him, he is big. True, sure. I guess, yeah, true.
I'm going to determine that it's because you guys are more interested in someone being nice and kind and lovely rather than
a rarity nowadays. Homies, a rarity nowadays. Some of them also just LARP. And then they show their true colors.
Who she votes for. Modern dating is really hard, and it's being made even harder by these insane, crazy women who are so fixated on finding somebody who has as extreme political opinions as them, whereas men are just out here like, I just want to find someone who's nice and normal. So maybe the women are doing you a favor then in that case. What I think is genuinely crazy here is that men seem to be on a quest to find someone to share their life with, and there's this massive cohort of women who won't even look their way. It doesn't matter if they're apolitical, it doesn't matter if they're a little bit right-wing, it doesn't
Yeah, the brainwashing is diabolical out here.
doesn't matter if they're the most extreme right-wing. These women, these progressive women, view all men through the same lens and tar them with the exact same brush. Like I said before, I don't think there's anything wrong at all with wanting somebody who shares your core values, because like I said, it makes life a lot easier, it makes doing a bunch of things a lot easier, like
Yeah, the problem is that it's hard because if you disagree on macro problems, that's gonna be a hard thing. That's gonna be difficult. That's actually gonna be difficult. I think like you should be politically on like a similar spectrum. You can like differ on some things, but like if one is like right wing, the other one is left wing. You're just gonna constantly clash.
child rearing and all that fun stuff. However, I think that having somebody with whom you disagree on a multitude of topics actually makes life really interesting, and it means that you can have discussions and debates and you can exchange ideas and grow with each other. If you think the exact same way about absolutely everything, I mean, personally, this is just me. You guys are welcome to disagree, but I don't think that's very fun. And coming back to the videos of the women who are asking, why won't men approach me? Well, why would a man take the risk of approaching a woman when there is a not a 0% chance that he is going to get chewed out because he doesn't align with her politically? There's obviously so much to
Or she's just gonna scream harassment, you know? Because you can't even lay naked in your own home without the woman intruding and then being like, I was SA'd, so what are you doing here? kind of sad how many people are gonna end up alone because of this, but like the women are doing it to themselves. They can't even go to ChatGPT because ChatGPT recently turned into Chad GPT, so they can't even date their AI anymore.
This topic, there's always going to be so much to the topic of dating, and just to be clear, there are a lot of things that obviously we didn't talk about in this video that do revolve around men making dating equally as challenging, but that is a topic for another video. Nope, you guys are not faultless. We blame everybody equally on this channel. But when it comes to focusing on the women, I just have a few final thoughts that I want to leave you with. I asked one of my girlfriends who is a former leftist about this, and she is married with children, and I thought her insight would actually be quite interesting into the sort of thought processes going on here. And she told me that even when she was a leftist, her goal was still to get married and have a family, but that was separate from her political views, and more so she was just focused on having a loving family. But where she sees a big difference with the women of today is that many of them are rejecting family to quote unquote fight the patriarchy, to combat climate change, and to not have children, and thus continue ruining the world. And
eventually, the not having children because of climate group is not gonna protect the climate because they don't have children, and those children will not pass on their beliefs, meaning that the climate group is eventually gonna die out. Also, another thing, we don't need to worry about that. European culture is definitely gonna die out in the next 100 years. We are at that point already. It's gonna happen. Same with the US, same with UK, same with other places. It is gonna slowly become less.
In her opinion, and I guess in mine as well, it's really, really bizarre. It is very weird to base the entire course of your own life on national politics and world politics. And I think if we're being real, thinking about relationships and love, and particularly men this way, is just making things so much harder than they need to be. It's making things so much crazier than they need to be. In the end, jeopardizing your own happiness because you continually overlook loving, kind men because they are not foaming progressive leftists is quite crazy. But as far as the men go, I have to think maybe these ladies are doing you a favor, and you are also all collectively dodging one giant bullet. Now, on that note, and before I open the floor to all of you, this is just a reminder, check out Incogni using the link in the description. I am a huge fan of this service. If this is something that you are worried about, I absolutely think that you should check it out as well. Just the other day, I got an email saying that one of my emails had been leaked on the dark web, which was quite alarming. And it's really good to know that there are services that can help you take your information offline. Now, I open the floor to all of you. What do you all think? Do you think that this particular brand of woman is making dating quite challenging? Do you think it's really the fault of both sexes, that both sexes have terrible things going on and are just sort of talking past each other? Do you think that the divide between men and women is only going to get larger as
it will get larger? It will get larger. I do 100% believe it will get larger. Fighting men got a lot easier when I stopped being an insane leftist, not gonna lie. Yeah. Now fighting women is a lot harder if you're not an insane leftist, I guess. But then you become a cuck, so what's the point? But yeah, I think it's gonna get worse. Because while the women are like, we're at this point, the women are like, I don't need a man. And the men are like, already like, how do I replace women? So that's our current situation is this. Women are like, I don't need a man. And men are like, how do I replace women? I don't know what we're doing with this. That is a problem. That is a problem, but it's gonna happen. It is going to happen. Eventually.
everybody gets more and more extreme. What do you think of all of these weird standards that these women seem to have, that they seem to parrot and look for in the opposite sex? Is it fair? Is it unfair? Is it unreasonable given everything that's going on right now? And what do you generally make of this issue overall? As as always, if you have made it this far in the video, congratulations. I always like having you along for the full ride. If you are new here and you're not subscribed already and you would like to see more of me and more of this kind of content, feel free to subscribe to the channel, as well as leaving this video a like and a comment, because I do read the majority of them and I like hearing your feedback. Of course, like I always say, my little chickadee noodle people, I hope you stay safe and well and make good choices and be very safe and very wonderful and go and hug your kids and your dog and your wife and all the good stuff and be so happy that probably the majority of you are married and not in the dating pool. I will see your wonderful little...
Married? Are you sure? I'm not even engaged anymore. Yeah, hugging the dog. Hugging the dog is definitely an option. That is definitely an option. Anyways, as a woman, I will confidently say that I do need a man. Men and women were created to go together. We need a partner. Yep. That's why I say the guys and gals that say they don't need a partner, y'all just coping. You're just scared. But most of you are just coping. Anyways, yeah, I think it's gonna get worse. More nose rings, more crazy women, more crazy men, whatever. Anyways, like, comment, and subscribe.